And we're back. This is John.
It's Paul.
And it's Eric.
And it's What If Geeks. And we are here with a Geekly Weekly. And a can opening.
Cracking beers.
So yeah, we would love to do some more Loki review, but at least one of us has got to catch up a lot.
You're going to be real excited when you start watching it again, Paul.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that happens. I guess when you're trying to cram everything into 6 episodes, you got to start moving quick at some point.
You got to jam it in there. All right.
Yeah, that's what she said. All right, so instead of reviewing Loki, we're going to bring you the Geekly Weekly, which should apparently be like the Geekly Monthly or Geekly Quarterly at this point. We have our own GQ. Because we forget to do these on a regular basis, so we wind up coming back to them when we need to get a filler. And man, there's a lot of shit to talk about now, which I'm excited about.
Especially with vacations and stuff, we've been having a hard time keeping up anyway. So
yeah, it's been kind of an ass. So but it's cool. It gives us a nice episode of just content that we can just go mull over a little bit. So, I guess we'll start it off with some news. Eric, do you want to take it? Or?
Sure. So, first one I got is they announced that Michelle Yeoh is going to join the cast of The Witcher Blood Origin. For those that aren't aware, that is going to be another series they release on Netflix. It's like a prequel, sort of. It's really more of an origin story on how the world of monsters, men, and elves all came together. So it's set like 1,200 years before the first Witcher series. And I don't really know much about the storyline other than that little bit. So I can't say much. But you know, Michelle Yeoh is an interesting addition. She's, I think a lot of people probably know her from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, but if not that, then if you've watched the Star Trek Discovery series, she plays the Philippa Georgiou and the evil Emperor version in the alternate timeline. She also had a part in Guardians of the Galaxy, but she was like one of the Ravager leaders or whatever, the clan leaders. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm of course, I loved Witcher, so I'm definitely interested in this. This is going to be a limited series. They're only going to do 6 episodes to tell this origin story, and then that's it. So nothing long term, but should be cool.
Stealing Disney Plus's format. Oh no.
Yeah, seems to be popular.
Yeah, I watched like the first episode of The Witcher. Fell off of it because I had a whole bunch of shit I was watching at the time. It was good. I liked it. Everybody's been raving about it, but like I never really got into it because I never played the games. I never, it's always been out of my wheelhouse. But it'd be something to look forward to.
Yeah, same. I watched the first couple episodes and then it kind of got away from me. So I'll catch up with this.
Yeah, eventually. So
yeah.
Cool. So we'll move on to rumor mill, or at least one part of the rumor mill. Now, again, we absolutely despise this source. We got this covered. They're mostly, the only thing they have covered is
the worst
pile of shit.
They are the worst.
Yeah, but here, I can actually give you an alternate source for this one. This is a case where we got this covered, just essentially copied the article from another site. So there's a second one if you don't want to look at. We got this covered.
Well, that's what they're good at. I mean, we got this covered, and they own a couple other domains. One of the, I'm not sure which, comic book. I forget which. Anyway, I don't want to.
Cosmic Book News or something like that.
Something like that. They're really good at someone reportedly said in some venue that this thing is going to happen, and then they're like, well, let's, someone said, some production assistant at such and such said they saw someone go into the studio. So that means this, this, and this. We can't confirm it, but that's what we think.
Yeah.
It turns out never.
Basically the same thing. However, they do something like, I was driving in my car past Walt Disney World. I farted, and then they report that there's a gas leak.
Right.
like something completely off the right. So that's basically how they do things.
This is a weird one because I would like this to be true.
Yes. We've spoken about this before, and the rumor that they're putting out there now is that apparently Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is supposed to take over the spot of the Stan Lee cameos that have been in all the MCU movies, which we've talked about before. We knew there were fan theories about it, and we all said, it'd be fun. It could be something as simple, just like the Stan Lee cameos are very small. You could see Deadpool walking by in the background, buying a hot dog on the street while Spider-Man swings by, so whatever. But I think it could be fun with him doing it, and it makes sense because, much like Stan Lee was supposed to be an agent of the Watchers, as we found out in the second Guardians movie, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, so it's a perfect spot for him in there.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I mean, the broader rumor goes that Ryan Reynolds, he has a production company, Maximum Effort, that he moved that production company out of the Fox studio lot, and it's supposedly over some beef with Disney. I don't know on what. I mean, of course, working a deal for Deadpool 3 right now could have something to do with it, but that this cameo offer was something to sort of get back in his good graces or whatever, so they could carry on. Who knows? Could be total bullshit, but I think, John, you've probably suggested this like 15 times by now that he should be the cameo. So hopefully it'll actually.
5 minutes after Stan Lee passed away, I was suggesting this.
Yeah. If you say it often enough and loud enough, it'll come true.
I had not heard about him taking his company off the Fox lot. I hope it's not true because, I mean, he did just recently have like some kind of interview where he was talking about how great things are going with Kevin Feige. So hopefully that part's bullshit. But we'll see. All right. Next, who wants to say whatever?
Okay.
So
you probably shouldn't do this one, actually. You should probably plug your ears right now because this is a bit of a spoiler for Loki episode 4.
Oh, okay. I just clicked on the article, so I won't.
So anyway, Jamie Alexander plays Lady Sif. She's gonna show up in episode 4, but she also teased on Instagram that there's more to it, and the character is gonna be here to stay, so to speak. And I don't really know what that means, but her Instagram post said the lady has returned and she's here to stay. Now, we had heard some months ago, I think, that she might be in Thor: Love and Thunder, but I don't know if. What's that?
It makes sense.
Yeah,
she should be. I wouldn't mind seeing them do something like since you've got Thor wrapped up in movies, right? With all the different MCU shows that they're doing on Disney Plus, to do like a Lady Sif and the Warriors 3 kind of thing, and get those actors to come back. That could be fun. Play around with Asgard a little bit, or well, not play around with Asgard because
yeah. What Asgard?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Oh, maybe trying to establish a new Asgard.
I'm probably reading too much into it, but a post like that makes me think that she got some sort of multi-movie contract deal. But who knows? Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it was just random and she's referring only to Loki and Thor: Love and Thunder and nothing else.
Right. All right. Eric, your turn.
I technically stole that one from Paul.
Okay, I'll do
Didn't want him to have to read the article about Loki.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'll do this one. All right.
Learn our own co-host. Sorry, Paul.
Quentin Tarantino has expressed an interest in remaking Rambo: First Blood, and that seems really interesting to me. And I'd sort of love to see it. I really like Quentin Tarantino. And so what he's talking about, though, is the David Morrell novel First Blood, and it's apparently, and I've not read it, but reading this article, apparently the novel is different than the movie, And so he wants Adam Driver and Kurt Russell to star in the film. He wants Kurt Russell to be the sheriff, which means Adam Driver would be playing Rambo. And he says he would do the novel. Kurt Russell would play the sheriff. Adam Driver would play. Every time I read the novel, the dialogue's fantastic. The film would be so good. I'm here for this. I'm not usually here for remakes, especially something that's as iconic as First Blood. I think, but having Quentin Tarantino redo it is almost too good to pass up, right? Like, I get he wants to retire after doing 10 films. Think he's getting close. He's on 8 or 9.
Yeah, depending on how you count.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this would be really cool.
I agree. Although Kurt Russell is like 70 something now, so I'm not sure he's gonna be the Kurt Russell you'd like to see in that role, but maybe.
Yeah, but he's, the old sheriff that, John Rambo the Wanderer just through his town, and he's in the Brian Dennehy role.
Yeah, so he could, because he didn't look 70 as Ego.
Right.
Yeah.
He could do it. And like Paul said, he's playing the role Brian Dennehy played. So, yeah, he could be like, a couple of years away from retirement or something. And, I don't need this shit. He'll do the Danny Glover, I'm too old for this shit.
Right.
So how much blood, though, fake blood, are they going to need for a Tarantino movie with multiple machine guns? I just don't know.
Yeah,
I just don't know if this will work.
Just call it all the blood.
Yeah.
Like Paul said, I don't normally like too many remakes. I like a lot of the stuff we've been doing recently with kind of like the reboot quill kind of thing, like Ghostbusters Afterlife that's coming up later on, stuff like that, where it's a sequel, but they're kind of rebooting it for a new audience. I like those. I don't like straight up remakes so much, especially not after we just had Rambo Last Blood, and that was a really good fucking movie.
Yeah.
I love that movie. But, again, to agree with Paul, it's Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, I want to see him do this. Now, on the note of his 10 movies, I was always under the impression that, yes, he wanted to retire after 10 movies, but 10 of his own creation movies, not a remake. So would he even try to count this in the 10, or is this his way of getting around that 10? Not quite ready to retire, so they make a remake and you're like, it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Well, yeah, it's also like, is Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 one movie or two? Does it count as two? I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a guy like Quentin Tarantino, and I think we said it before. I don't see him. I get he made the statement, I'm retiring after 10 movies. But you don't get a mind like him that just says, all right, I'm done creating shit. You know what I mean? He's not going to shut it off. Something like this, he could just say that, when I said 10 movies, I meant 10 of my own creation or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'd want to see it.
Yeah. There.
All right.
What was that?
Yeah, so now whose fucking turn is it? Eric's?
Yeah, sure. So Steven Spielberg, well, technically Amblin Partners, which Steven Spielberg owns, and Netflix have signed a new deal together that will have Spielberg producing multiple, it does not say how many in the public info here, but multiple films for Netflix every single year, which is pretty wild.
See the irony in this. Wasn't it just last year he was talking about how streaming services shouldn't be Oscar contenders?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it wasn't last year; it was 2019. But yeah, he said that none of the streaming services basically should be barred from Oscar awards, and I don't know why.
Well, he tried to come back and walk that back a little bit shortly after that, but that's what he fucking said.
Yeah, I mean,
He just high regard or whatever, and now he's signing a deal to produce with them. So
multiple feature films per year. So this is interesting too, because we'll talk about it in a bit, but the sort of originals for the streaming services are getting like wild, like 100 million, $200 million budgets now.
And a lot of them are good.
Yeah. And they're being released without direct revenue on the release, right? It's all based on people signing up or continuing their service, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, I mean, they don't have to worry about, I think the pandemic and shutting down theaters destroyed some studios, right? And changed, we're essentially out of most of the shutdown, but we're not back in theaters yet as a society, right? I think this weekend's the first sort of big release that I think people are going to go back to the theaters for in Black Widow, but Netflix doesn't need to worry about that stuff. Disney Plus doesn't need to worry about that stuff. Netflix specifically, right? All the other studios still want the movie theater release, and that people may not be ready for that yet, even if you're vaccinated and all the stuff. And these things are better at home sometimes. So if Netflix doesn't have to worry about that, throw all the money in and not need to worry about it. What if it tanks? What if it whatever? They've got subscribers. All you need to do is stay.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, with the number of subscribers that like Netflix has, I mean, they could make a multi-$100 million movie every month. I mean, honestly, they'd have to drop everything else they're doing, but you know what I'm saying? It's really not that much of a big chunk of change anymore for them.
Yeah. Well, by doing stuff like this, they wouldn't really have to drop too much of what they were doing, because you have other studios that are working in conjunction with your people to make these things. It makes sense. And now, as much shit as I've just given Steven Spielberg, I'll also give him credit that it makes sense. You have to get with the times. While he may have been trying to do the I'm a pure director and only actual movies, whatever, should be Oscar contenders, yada yada, whatever. He said all that bullshit, kind of poo-pooing on streaming services. But now you're post-ish pandemic, and you see how much content and how much bang for your buck streaming services have actually gotten. You're dumb if you don't sign on with one.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he did. Well, whether he said it or not, I don't know. But he did walk that comment back a couple months ago, right? So there was a article that New York Times did, and he said, "I want people to find their entertainment in any form or fashion that suits them, big screen, small screen. What really matters to me is a great story, and everyone should have access to great stories." So
was that a couple months ago?
Yeah, that was April 23rd, I think.
They handed him that check, and he was like, "Streaming services shouldn't get an Oscar." Wait, how many zeros? Never mind. By the way, find your content wherever you get it. Big screen, small screen, doesn't matter.
2 years ago, he was poo-pooing on them. Now, they cut him a check, and he's like, "No."
Why don't you? They're like, "Hey, why don't you walk that back?" Sure, yeah, content's good wherever you get it. It's fine. How many zeros? Yeah, I'm good.
Now, that also, I guess, gives Netflix access to stream out Amblin Entertainment movies, possibly.
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, at this point, Amblin has. I mean, many of their movies are already out there on other streaming services, so I don't really know. So, as Amblin Partners is the production company. Well, I'm pretty sure Amblin Entertainment owns the movies. Not that there's necessarily a distinction that matters there.
I don't know that part of the deal, but I would say between if they're able to stream his old movies and he's making new content for them, does anybody want to take an over and under on whether or not we're actually going to see an E.T. 2?
I'm hoping not.
Yeah, don't do it.
Coming. E.T. First Blood. Because there was actually supposed to be an E.T.
Phone Blood.
He wrote an E.T. 2 where there was like other aliens came to Earth and they were like bad aliens or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to look it up sometime. We'll save it for the ET show. But he wrote a treatment for an ET sequel, and never saw the light of day. With good reason, but yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me, I'll say that much. It wouldn't shock me if Netflix talked them into something to do with ET. All right, so onward. Eric just dropped this one on me. I didn't realize this, but apparently Netflix is that they've greenlighted or greenlit a sequel to Old Guard, which I'm all about. That's awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily surprised, but I missed it too. I dropped it on you because I saw it when I was scrolling around. But apparently the first one had 78 million views in the first week, which, considering that Netflix only has 274 million subscribers, I mean, you're talking like, a quarter of Netflix watched the movie in the first week, which is pretty crazy. So I'm not surprised they greenlit it. I wouldn't be surprised if they greenlit it that week. Although this news didn't come out then, but yeah. So I'm ready for it. Rumor mill, I think, says that the name of the movie is Chapter 2, Force Multiplied, which is a reference to the second edition comic release, which is called Book 2, Force Multiplied. So that may be indicative of something that's going to happen, but who knows for sure. Either way, I'm watching that.
Yeah.
All right. You want to talk about some controversies?
Yeah, here we go.
Sure. Yeah, we'll start off with the little one.
The little
one. So He-Man Revelations is coming out soon, in a couple of weeks, and the fans are mixed now because apparently after the second trailer, I saw a little bit of it, but not a whole lot. There was some discussion on the fact that some fans thought it was centralized more on Teela, and He-Man was taking a back seat, so it was more about her. And then there's a comic tie-in that one page out of it has been all over like the meme pages now, that you have King Grayskull, who is supposed to be an ancestor to He-Man, basically the first guy to have the power of He-Man, and he built the powers from him, whatever. But in this show, he's He-Man's grandfather, and he's a black guy in this show, where before he looked like a carbon copy of He-Man. So fans are losing their shit, saying that the show is woke now, and they're just pushing an agenda or whatever. And other fans are like, can we at least wait 2 more weeks till it comes out?
Can we see it before we start crapping on it? Yeah.
Which is kind of my take on it. We've spoken ad nauseum about gender swapping and race swapping and whatever else in major characters, and I would get that argument a little bit here. With like if you're changing the race of King Grayskull, does it make sense? No, but at the same time, like somebody argued online, like, all right, the power of Grayskull chooses a champion. Who's to say it wasn't a black guy? Is he actually his biological grandfather, or is he just a predecessor in a line of people who had this power? Mm-hmm. And that part makes sense to me. That and the show, I mean, King Grayskull was part of the lore in the comics and in the cartoon. He's a small part of it compared to you're focusing on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, right? So whatever his race is, fine. For the most part, for me, I don't really see the problem with it. But the memes have been hilarious. It's like he's going to be played by Samuel L. Jackson, and they're all like, I have the power, motherfucker. Just dumb shit like that. But to say that it's necessarily woke, even like Kevin Smith responded to it and said, if by woke you mean that Teela, that a woman character has a prominent role, well, yeah, it's a spiritual sequel to the other one, and Teela and Evelyn were fighting alongside He-Man and Skeletor in every episode. So, so I don't. Again, in one of the comics I was recently reading to kind of prep for the show, it picked up kind of after the show, and spoiler alert for a show from 1985. You learn that the sorceress is Tila's mother, but she couldn't raise her because of her duties to Grayskull, so she left her with Man-at-Arms, and he raised her. In the comic, it fleshed it out a little bit more, where she's actually their daughter together, and the sorceress couldn't never let her know because of her duties, yada yada, whatever. But she finds out, and she's pissed off about it, when she finds out. But she gets it, and there is a whole set of comic, or at least a part of the story in those comics about her coming to terms with that. And the show is called He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations. If this is the revelation that she finds out about He-Man and her mother being the sorceress or whatever, then sure, I would expect her to be prominent in this series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if Kevin Smith does a second season and calls it something different, and it focuses a little bit more on, I don't know, Masters of the Universe, shitty magic, and it focuses on Orko. Whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like I get why it would focus on her. So I don't think He-Man is going to be a fucking side character in this, but I guess we'll find out when it comes out. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing that was driving people towards that thought was the official synopsis that's listed for it, right? Because it says, I'm going to read the whole thing, but after decades of secrets tore them apart, it's up to Tila to reunite the broken band of heroes and solve the mystery of the missing sword of power in a race against time to restore Eternia and prevent the end of the universe. Okay, so that very much makes it sound like it's about her. And people pointed that out. And well, once again, Kevin responded, and he said, well, we can't release a synopsis about part 2 without spoiling part 1. So that part about Tila is just about part 1 of the series, and that's it.
Yeah, like why couldn't that be why isn't that maybe what episode 1's about, where she has to go figure out how do we bring He-Man back?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
What if that's only or 1 or 2 episodes in the whole series?
Right. It wouldn't surprise me to find like tomorrow on Rotten Tomatoes, He-Man already has like a 10% rating. Like people who haven't even seen it yet I've decided, nope, it's woke. I don't like it. It's not out for another 2 weeks. So let's just see it and then let's talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. All right. Oh, so on to the next controversy. Go ahead, Eric. Because I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this name anymore.
We don't have to bleep it out. Does somebody have a bleep sound effect? So there is I don't even know whether to call it a rumor, but there's a lot of suspicion running around that Disney is trying to do away with the name of Boba Fett's starship. Or Jango Fett's, whoever's starship. So it's called Slave One, which, to be honest with you, to be honest with you, I don't even know where that name came from, but it's so like entrenched at this point. I mean, it's like it is what it is. And so
started, yeah.
It
was the name of the started.
Yeah, and so the way this came about is that Lego was putting on display, I guess, their new Slave One Lego set, but someone noticed on the package it said Boba Fett Starship. And so one of the reporters, whatever that was there, asked about it, like, why is it Boba Fett Starship? Because they've released at least 7, maybe even 8 sets at this point that say Slave One on the box, right? So it's not like it's a secret to Lego fans or something, or Star Wars fans, right? So the thing that sort of triggered this, though, was what is he called? He's the Lego Star Wars like digital design director or whatever. I don't remember his exact title, but Star Wars design director, that's what it is. Jens Kronvold Fredrickson. So his response was, they asked him, why is the Slave One name being dropped off the set? And his response was, well, everybody's dropping the name. It's probably not something that Disney's announced publicly, but it's just something they don't want to use anymore. And so that started a whole, shit show with, oh, Disney's killing Slave One for, for whatever it is, for sort of political correctness, for social justice. Who knows what the hell? People say all kinds of things. And if it would have just been that, I would have left this alone and just moved on and thought, well, lots of kids watching it now, just call it something simple. People might not know Slave One if they haven't been around the franchise forever. But it didn't end there. Round Two, who makes these really highly detailed models, for consumers to buy, also have or revealed their next set, and it was also called Boba Fett Starship. And you can hear their product manager. He's in the video. It's a YouTube video where they show the products. You can hear the product manager. I think his name is Jamie Holmes, but it doesn't really matter. But he says, wasn't our choice. And he doesn't elaborate at all, but he's just saying the name wasn't their choice. I'm like, okay, well, that's a little bit weird. And so then I started digging around on stuff. In the Star Wars card trader app, it's also been renamed to Boba Fett Starship. And then somebody else pointed out to me that if you go to the Star Wars, the official StarWars.com databank where they have all the info. So if you go to what used to be the Slave One page, it's like StarWars.com/database/slave-1 or something. If you go to that, it redirects you to a different page. And now that page still says Slave One right on the front. They haven't changed anything yet, but the URL, instead of being /Slave1, is now /Boba Fett Starship. So it seems like they may be prepping for something, but I'm not sure it's actually so much a social justice thing. Now, this is just me speculating, okay, that this is some kind of social justice or protocol. I think they're going to use the Book of Boba Fett because they made Boba Fett into basically an anti-hero in Mandalorian, right? They totally changed the persona he had from the badass bounty hunter to kind of a good bad guy, like a Punisher or something, right? Just whatever you want to call it. So I think they may be setting up for some sort of ship rename in the Book of Boba Fett series. And they wouldn't have to retcon much to do that because that's happening, 9 years before the final movie? It doesn't matter. It could have been Slave One all the way up to that point, and they're really not changing anything if the name changes then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you didn't see it after Return of the Jedi because he was quote unquote dead.
Yeah. So who knows? That's totally me guessing. Maybe it'll have some other cool name, and they don't want to reveal that name. That's why everything's getting the generic Boba Fett Starship. And then once it's revealed, they'll.
That would make sense to make it kind of intricate to his character shift, and I'd be cool with that.
But I think that comes later. That comes as a result of not wanting to start putting stuff out with the word slave on it.
Well, it could, yeah.
That's so.
Sure.
Which I get, right?
I had a problem with the damn name, but at the same time, I get where they might be sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it, but
I mean, it's not like he's a freaking slave trader. Again, I don't know where the name comes from originally, but it's not like we've ever seen him in any of the movies, right. Capturing people and selling them into slavery or anything.
I don't even think it's not even until it's not in the first three movies. It's in the sort of the prequel Attack of the Clones. No, the Clone Wars. In one of those, like Jango Fett's ship. I don't even know that it's sort of movie legend.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's mentioned in the movies. I think that all came from the supplements back from the original trilogy stuff. They did all those crazy blueprint books, and I think it came from those. The name.
The toys, because I remember it being called Slave One back when I was a kid. But yeah, again, if they put a spin on it where he personally doesn't like the name anymore because he's not bounty hunting people and selling them in whatever, I don't know. He wasn't he wasn't selling them into slavery, like you said. He was bounty hunting people for whatever. Maybe this is not his business anymore, and he's whatever. I don't know. Who knows? Well, apparently the actor was like, "What the fuck?" Tamara Morrison or whatever.
Yeah.
You renamed the fucking ship? What? So he didn't know. All right. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. All right, on to box office.
Sure. So
Is that a thing? Box office a thing anymore?
you know, you wouldn't have thought so, but somebody made
A lot of people working from home.
somebody made a ninth fucking Fast and the Furious movie. And it had a $70 million opening weekend, which it released at the end of June. A $70 million opening weekend. It's on 125 domestic already, and really weird, 503 million worldwide. So it's actually got more revenue international than it does domestic, which is kind of crazy.
I like how you abbreviated domestic to Dom.
Yeah. and it made look I didn't add up, it was quick math, but it looked like it made somewhere around 23 million over this past holiday weekend, despite being, you know, basically the second weekend it's out. So there may be a theater left. It may be mostly in the other parts of the world besides the US, but there's definitely a theater left. I mean, 500 million is impressive for a movie that's only been out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's really impressive, especially nowadays.
Especially the ninth in a goddamn sequel, like, or whatever saga.
That sounds like some. Sounds like some funny math. Like half of Asia is still shut down. Parts of Europe are still not quite open yet. Like, how is this making $500 million?
Yeah,
no idea.
But I will say there have been an ass ton of Dom Toretto memes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of them.
Yeah.
It's basically like Star Wars, right? Where like Poe Dameron is like, we're outnumbered, and then you just see like someone else's voices, they're outnumbered, and then you see like Dom in his Charger flying through space with a bunch of other cars behind him, and he's like, you know, nothing is possible without family. Or with family, whatever.
Yeah, there's been a million family memes at this point.
Yeah, it goes to the joke that we were saying, how by 10 he's going to be in space. Well, after 9, the memes already took him to space, so I guess it's only a matter of time.
So I threw up a link to the box office numbers that have it by country in there. So if you want to scroll down that list, you can see that the UK, pretty big contributor, which I guess they are at least starting to lift their restrictions. But so some other ones that are a little bit shocking to me: Mexico, $11 million. Okay, the show's popular in Mexico. Great.
Yeah.
Australia had a pretty decent contribution of the total. South Korea, and then Russia, 7 million out of Russia. So it's a handful of countries that are making that big contribution, but
Ireland, 15, that's because they never given a shit.
Somehow China's 203 million of it.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, China's a pretty big contributor when movies come out, but yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, anyway, there it is, man. It's more international dollars than domestic, which doesn't happen a ton with movies, but I guess pandemic is a weird time.
Yeah.
What do we have next? Quiet Place Part 2. So that one actually came out 2 months ago, but it still seems to be going okay. I mean, it had a 47 million opening, not bad. 146 million domestic, 263 million worldwide, and then on the holiday weekend it did about 4 million, which isn't great, but I mean it's getting towards the end of its run anyway. So
yeah. Sad to say I still haven't seen the first one.
Yeah.
I really need to watch movies.
Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife, which released about 3 weeks ago. Not that great.
Hitman's what?
Hitman's
Wife's body.
I said it right or wrong?
Wrong. It's okay. I know it's a lot to say.
And then the last one I had on here just to have a good laugh was the Purge movies sequel, or not sequel, but it's, what is it, the fourth, fifth movie? I don't even know what the hell it is at this point. But it,
I think it's the fourth one.
Well, it pretty much did terrible, much worse than any of its previous counterparts, which isn't that surprising because to me that the whole thing is boring. I can't even.
The whole thing's played out completely.
Yeah. I don't feel like there's some, but you know what? I was a Saw hater and people said they love it, and I felt like, this is a terrible horror movie.
I like the first one. The second one with Frank Grillo in it wasn't bad, but by the third one, remember I told you it was like just a straight SJW fest. Where, like some dude reached out of a sewer and grabbed her by the pussy. like it was that on the nose. I'm like, or on the snatch or whatever. I don't know. It was on something, but it was just really like in your face, beating you over the head with the social justice bullshit. So, yeah, I'm not surprised this one tanked.
Yeah. On to trailers then.
On to trailers, thank God. All right, so something I am really looking forward to. I'm gonna wait until October 15th, but Halloween Kills. So the sequel to the rebootful it came out 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
2019 came out.
I think so.
Jamie Lee Curtis reprises her role as Jamie Stroud. What's the name? Yeah, Stroud. Laurie Stroud. Jesus, Jamie Stroud. Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Stroud. And this picks up the first one, the last one that just came out, picked up right after the original Halloween movie. And it goes like almost present day. Years later, Michael Myers was in an insane asylum, and he escaped and goes after her to kill her. And it's her and her family. So when we left him, spoiler alert for the Halloween movie, she trapped him in her house and set the whole fucking basement on fire, so the whole house is burning. This trailer picks up immediately after that, where they're in the back of an ambulance and they're driving away. The house is in flames, and they see the fire engines and the cops going by them toward her house, and she starts screaming, "Let it burn!" Which this trailer really it nailed me right away, just with that part. I know, like Eric said, she looks old as shit.
She looks old in this trailer, like old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you had to,
it's stressful. You're chased by Michael Myers your whole life.
Even just in your head, chased by him, and then he actually comes back out and comes after you. So she's a little stressed out there, Eric. She's been waiting
for him to get out of that insane asylum her whole life. Like she had her place locked down, like a survival bunker, sort of with traps in it and a guard tower and a gun turret and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, the place was crazy. It was awesome. So this is all about after that last one. How basically he gets out and starts wreaking havoc again. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I liked what they did with the last one. I like how they ignored everything after the first one and just rebooted everything.
They're doing this. If it's maybe this isn't the right way to say it, but did you notice there was a comment in the trailer where she says for like every person he kills, he transcends further or whatever, like he's becoming some sort of immortal god by murdering people.
I call it. I guess they might be building up back toward the old 80s Halloween movies, but I like him as this shape where he's just a human being that's relentless. So I guess we'll see how this one plays out. But they got this one, and then there's another one coming up next year too, like the third in the trilogy. I forget what they're calling it, but that one's Halloween something, and that's supposed to be, or maybe Halloween Ends or something like that.
Yeah, Halloween Ends is what it's called. Yeah.
There you go. See, I remember. Yay me. So I think at the end of this trilogy, as long as they don't make him straight up some demon god, like something that comes back from the dead all the time, if they make it more grounded in reality like the last one was, I'm going to really enjoy this. It'll be a nice 4-part movie or a 4-part series that I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. What do you guys think?
Sure.
Yeah. I'll have to go see it with you. Like that's the only way I'm going to see it. My family will never go see that. So.
All right. Well, there you go. It's a date, Funky.
Oh.
All right, so then we got Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings trailer 2 just dropped. That's coming out September 3rd. And again, like, I'm all for this. Paul summed it up perfectly when he was watching this trailer. It ended, and he said, Shang-Chi is what
Iron Fist should have been. Because I think, I mean, Shang-Chi is you talk about like minor Marvel character. This is it. And I thought Iron Fist was kind of minor when Netflix did the Iron Fist show. That show is really not good, and that's sad for me because Iron Fist is one of the Marvel characters I like the best, which is weird to like a sort of fringy hero character. But Shang-Chi is even more so than that. Like, and so this is, but this movie looks really cool. Good special effects, seemingly good story, good music in the trailer. So I think the score and soundtrack of this movie will be good. And there's a quick scene in it, and I know that Abomination is one of the, I don't know, it's the big bad, but at least making a comeback as a character from the first Hulk movie, and it looks like he's fighting Wong, Doctor Strange's sidekick, if you will,
like in a Fight Club type of place,
right? So yeah, September. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there with the Fight Club thing. It looks kind of cool. Maybe like a thing where they make people with special abilities fight each other. That would be kind of cool.
No.
The thing about the Ten Rings, now, you know, when they first announced the movie, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to get a Mandarin character that's not a fake like Iron Man 3, right? Yeah. And so I was expecting a guy with like rings on his fingers. And in this trailer, you see this dude's got like 5 rings on either arm, on his forearms, and they kind of like, they come out with some type of, you know, magical, mystical ability or whatever. Like he just flexes his hands and they slide off his arms, and it looks like it gives him multiple different powers, similar to the character in the comics. I don't know.
In the comics, each ring gave him like some different elemental power or something, right? This seems a little different. Like the rings kind of work together, and he uses his chi to control them or something.
Yeah, which I'm hoping each one eventually is somehow a different power, but at the same time, I like the concept of what they're doing. I mean, like, it looks cool. So, you know, where people won't just be like, oh, what is he, like Green Lantern with 10 rings? But, you know, he's got these bands that work. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
hold that hope.
Most of the forefront MCU characters have sort of like a super weapon, right? You got like Thor's hammer, you know, Captain America's shield, Iron Man's suit. I feel like they are just sort of trying to amp him up to be sort of at the level of the mainstream MCU characters, right?
Yeah, I think so. So
I mean, especially even in this trailer, it looks like he faces off against Death Dealer and Abomination and his father character, whoever the hell he is.
Yep. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And then Michelle Yeoh's in this too. That little training scene where it seems like she's his mentor maybe or something. She's like teaching him how to use the chi, and you see her. She has no rings, but you see her like doing all this crazy moves and sort of like energy emanating off of her.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's Marvel, so it's already got
exactly.
It's got 80% of my vote already. I mean. You want to roll through this last trailer that I know Paul's going to run? Eric and I can finish out the rest of this thing. That way.
Yeah, this is something we talked about a while back, and one of the things that we liked as kids in the comics, liked it so much that John borrowed the name for this podcast. But Marvel used to do the What If comics, where they would explore different sorts of realities, and so Marvel is coming out with their What If show, and it will start streaming August 11th. And this trailer is really cool. And it sounds as if they have the voices of the actual actors from the live action Marvel movies.
Yeah, at least some of them, yeah.
Right, maybe not Chadwick Boseman, but
yeah, but it does sound like Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, it does. But Thor sounds like Chris Hemsworth, and Tony Stark sounded like Robert Downey Jr., although it could be someone doing a Robert Downey Jr. impersonation, but it sounded like him. And it's right. So same premise. Reality can bend, and multiple universes have the same characters in different configurations, and so really cool looking style of animation as well. So I think this is going to be something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. And like I said, once we get past this, I would love for them to expand this into just whatever they want it to be. Get away from the movies and just start going nuts with it. But they've got a lot of room to play with this one. But yeah, just sticking to the movies is a good start. And it looks like they're going to start a multiverse Avengers type of thing. So it looks like it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, there's definitely some random weirdness in here. Like it looks like Chala might be in the role of the Star-Lord, and he's working with what's his name, the Whistle.
The Ravagers.
Yeah. There was a cut scene with Spider-Man where it looked like he was wearing Doctor Strange's cape. like he was a Sorcerer Supreme or something.
There's one where it looked like Peggy Carter was Captain America, but with a British, right? So some sort of Captain Carter.
Captain Britain.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she definitely looked like she was dressed like Captain Britain, but she called herself Captain Carter.
Yeah.
The thing that got me was in the very first scene, like they kind of replay from Iron Man 1 when he's riding in the Humvee. He's like, "Oh yeah, peace. I'd be broke with peace. Whatever. Peace put me out of a job." And he gets attacked, and when he's standing there waiting for the bomb to explode, his hand comes down, grabs the bomb, and throws it, and it's Killmonger.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit!" And he helps him up, and they walk off together. And I was like, "What the?" So
yeah. Is there an Iron Man if Killmonger saves him?
Yeah. So it could be interesting.
There's one where Black Widow has got Captain America's shield, or a Captain America-like shield, and she's sort of armored up, like she almost looks like Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, can we squeeze in this last one? Because I forgot we had the what if one. Yeah. So the last trailer that we got here, coming out August 13th, is Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, and I really want to see this movie. Basically, the whole premise plays a non-playable character in a video game called Guy, and he realizes that he's in a video game, kind of like a Wreck-It Ralph type of thing, but a little different because it's live action. He sees one of the players and he falls in love with her, and all hell breaks loose because he decides he's not going to just do his non-playable character role anymore, and he becomes kind of a celebrity among gamers. So it looks like it's going to be fun. Tons of video game jokes, shit like that. So, it should be good. I think it'll be good. I mean, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would watch anything Ryan Reynolds at this point, especially if it's rated R.
Yeah. All right. Paul, you too? You're on board?
Yep. Yeah, this looks great. It said only in theaters, so I'm surprised that there's not some sort of streaming element to it. But again, I think they've been trying to get this out for a long time, so I get it. You got to make that money back.
Yeah. So August 13th, I will be going to watch it. All right, so Paul, you out of here?
I am.
All right.
I got to go catch up on 12 episodes of Loki.
Yeah. Yeah.
See you later.
Get that knocked out so we're ready for Monday.
Right. Bye.
All right, so we'll wrap this up with stuff that's coming out in theaters and on streaming. We'll try to blow through most of this quick, but not the theater part. So tomorrow, I guess, you have Black Widow releasing. So this July 9th. So I don't know when we'll post this episode, but July 9th, you've got Black Widow. You got Black Widow dropping in theaters and on Disney Plus as a premiere service. So it'll probably be $30 if you want to watch it there. But so either one, your choice. You can watch it either way. I will probably watch it here on Disney Plus myself.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I know we were talking about going to the theaters, and there's plenty of theaters showing it, but I've just got so much shit going on, and Heather's getting ready to start a part-time job, so just trying to knock shit out here. So I'm not going anywhere this weekend.
Yeah,
so I'll probably just watch tonight after she gets home.
I'm with you. The week.
Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So technically, it'll be tonight by the time you hear this episode. We'll be up. I'll be watching it. Should we take bets on whether or not this thing ends with some type of stinger where they bring her back to life after Endgame?
Yeah, that's where my money's at for sure. It'd be cool if they did a post-credit scene where they go back to that spot and figure something out. I don't know. They could do it in a little 60-second stint where they don't give you hardly anything, but I'm on board. Why not?
Yep. Be like cool what we did. All right, and then we got one that I'm not quite looking forward to, but my kid is, so I guess I'm definitely going to watch this. Next week, July 16th, we have the sequel reboot. I don't know what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Of Space Jam. What's it?
Yeah. A New Legacy, yeah. And so this one's going to be a simultaneous release too, but you don't have to pay any money for it. If you got HBO Max, you can watch it on there. It'll release the same day as theaters.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch it. This one's got LeBron James in it, right? Which is basically the reason I really don't want to watch it. I can't stand that asshole. But other than that, sure, whatever. It's got Looney Tunes, so I'm happy.
Shortly thereafter, July 30th, Jungle Cruise. That's the movie with
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson, thanks. Based on the ride at Disney World. That will be.
You would have me pick any ride I would never think they'd make the movie about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise is up there.
Hey,
and the trailer makes me want to watch it.
You're just making me think, if they wanted to do like a Small World movie, maybe they could bring Chucky in there and they could just fucking run some carnage.
A whole bunch of Chuckies from different countries.
So Jungle Cruise will also simultaneous release on Disney Plus and in theaters on July 30th. It will also be a premiere access, so you'll probably have to pay $30 if you want to watch it at home.
Well, we're definitely going to watch it away because Heather loves Dwayne Johnson and she loves Disney, so this is like a match made in heaven for her.
Yeah, Disney's going to get their damn money. Free Guy, which we just talked about, will be out theaters only August 13th. You can expect to see it on streaming for pay, probably about 3 months after, but we'll see how it goes. And then one I'm really looking forward to is Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which we talked about the trailer, I think in the last Geekly Weekly maybe, but or maybe a couple before. But that one will be out September 24th, and I think, actually I should look this up because I think that one is a theater release.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Theatrical release. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to throw it on streaming right away, so... I will go to the theater to watch that, though. That's pretty much my favorite Marvel character. Yeah, I think Tom Hardy's great.
We talked about it a little more in depth last one, so we don't have to do it here. But yeah, I think Tom Hardy killed it in the first one, just being that anti-hero that he never has that true hero moment where he's this shining beacon. He's just always looks like he's in pain, confused, and he doesn't look much better in this.
No, but one. I feel like they threw in even more of that sort of dark comedy kind of stuff into this one. It looks really entertaining.
It did, yeah. When she says there's no ring dings or whatever, and he's like, "I'm gonna eat her," I was like. I love what they've done with the Venom character, the Venom part of it, the symbiote. I really love that. And I mean, when you say Cletus Cassidy, Who better than Woody Harrelson? I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so this is gonna be a good one. All right, so then on to streaming, and we are out of here.
Yeah, so streaming titles, I've got a long list this time, but that's only because there seems to be a ridiculous amount of like nostalgic movie stuff coming out on streaming this month. Actually, most of these are already out. Most of them dropped July 1st on the streaming platforms, but for the ones that haven't come out yet, I'll tell you when they are. But so Netflix has all the old Austin Power movies now, all the Karate Kid Part 1, 2, 3.
That makes perfect sense because Cobra Kai.
Yeah. The original Mortal Kombat movie, the 95 version that we kind of laughed at, but it was good. They'll be adding Terminator 2 Judgment. No, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is already on there. And then Underworld, but they're missing Evolution on Netflix. I don't know why, but it's available on one of the other platforms. So you got Underworld, Underworld Awakening, Underworld Rise of the Lycans, all available on Netflix right now. And then Cosmic Sin, which I hadn't even heard of, but it's an interesting movie. I watched it on the plane going out to Illinois whenever I left a few weeks ago. So that's going to be out on Netflix on July 17th. It's about the future and an alien invasion, and it's interesting though. The reason that I actually watched it is because Bruce Willis is one of the lead characters. I had no idea this movie was even out there, you know? And I saw Bruce Willis on there, like in all this body armor and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm watching that. He doesn't.
Now, it's flashing a memory, but not much of one. So.
Yeah, he doesn't disappoint anyway. But I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's worth watching for free on Netflix for sure. And then I had thrown this in here for Paul, but July 21st, the second season of The Movies That Made Us will drop on Netflix, and he really liked the first season. So. Oh
yeah, me too. I'm still waiting for season 4 of the Clinton News.
Yeah.
They announced something about that, but I don't know what's coming out.
On HBO Max, Demolition Man, the movie with Stallone and Wesley Snipes, was a great film, despite how kind of ridiculous they did with some of the costumes and stuff. That's out on HBO Max now. The 2 Punisher movies, Punisher and Punisher Warzone, which are, I don't know, 15 years old at this point. The 2008 Rambo director's cut release is on there. We were talking about Quentin Tarantino earlier. Reservoir Dogs, great movie. That's on there now. Return of the Living Dead, they're missing the second one, but the first and third are available on HBO Max. I don't know what the hell happened to the second one. Somebody else must have some weird rights to it or something. Texas Chainsaw. Huh?
Before you continue, on that note, what I'm looking for on streaming, and I've yet to find a free version of it anyway, is the remake of the original Night of the Living Dead. It came out like in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It was a remake because it was more modern because the first one was black and white, right? But they remade it straight up, like just much like Snyder redid Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah. I think we talked about that on the zombie episode we did, whatever that was. That was not 2019.
And I want to watch that one again because I've watched all of them multiple times. I cannot find that one streaming anywhere. I'm gonna have to keep looking.
Yeah, I haven't seen it streaming for free, but I mean, it is available for $4 on Amazon if you just want to buy it.
Yeah, $4, I can do that. All right, I guess I know.
Yeah, I don't know that it's streaming anywhere. Let me. I'll take a look for you real quick and see if it's gonna be coming out on any of them. But, oh, do you have Shudder?
No, I need to get it. Everything
it is on Shudder. It's
okay.
available on Shudder.
There's a bunch of stuff that I've seen little ads for on there, like even like the shorts that they do.
Yeah,
I want to watch. All right, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Space Jam, we talked about already. That'll be released July 16th on HBO Max, along with being in theaters. And then the He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelation will be dropped on July 23rd. On Hulu. Bill and Ted Face the Music, already going to free streaming on Hulu. I guess it didn't have much of a life. But as for anybody that missed that in the theaters, you'll have your opportunity. Two great zombie films, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I like them both. Those are available on Hulu now. Beetlejuice, the old 80s one with Michael Keaton, which I think I'm going to make my little daughter watch since she likes horror movies so much, even though it's not really horror, but I got to keep it easy. The old Caddyshack and Caddyshack 2 are available on Hulu now. House of the Dead and House of the Dead 2. I threw this one in here for you. It's not really on brand, but the Personal Shopper movie I told you about, where Kristen Stewart, gets nude and fondles herself or whatever. That's that movie. So just so you know, it's on Hulu for free.
At least one part over and over and over.
All three of the RoboCop movies from the 80s and 90s are available on Hulu now. And then Sleepwalkers, which I think I had told you like 2 years ago, was one of my favorite Stephen King adaptation movies. It's old, it's from the 90s, but I like that one a lot. And then all the Underworld movies are on Hulu. So Evolution is not missing from Hulu. I don't know why it's missing from Netflix, but Amazon Prime, have you seen The Tomorrow War? New
Not
Chris Pratt
yet.
movie?
Two of my friends saw it and they said, watch it. I like it. I have heard mixed reviews on it. Like it's a decent movie, but I heard complaints that essentially it's, what was it? And it's a social justice complaint. Or I guess maybe a more liberal complaint. I don't know how you want to word it. But the thing I saw, the article I read was like, basically Chris Pratt is playing a cis white male running around saving the day. I'm like, I'm sure, but why is everything got to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the storyline, if you really think about it, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but the storyline is kind of ridiculous. I mean, one of the first scenes, and minor spoiler alert because this happens super early in the movie, but people from the future just show up on a soccer field and they're like, oh my God, the world's ending. We need all of you to help us fight this. And then the whole world decides to send all of their people into the future to help out. Like, there's just no way that happens. There's just no way. No, every world government in the movie just agrees to send all their people through to go fight aliens in the future. Like, this is not going to happen. But anyway, there is some pretty cool special effects. The aliens are really neat. And Amazon spent $200 million on this movie, and they got so many views right after release that they're already looking at doing a sequel.
Nice.
So it must have been worth it, despite whatever bad reviews you might see.
I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm definitely.
Also added to Amazon Prime is the original Alien movie, which is, I'm really waiting for them to add all of them. I don't know why it's always bouncing around. Like, I could watch Alien 2 last month, Resurrection, but Alien 3 hasn't been on there for like ever. Like, I don't know what's going on with the weird swapping around of Alien movies, but I wish they just throw them all together on one streaming platform.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I like it.
Green Lantern, that wonderful, wonderful Green Lantern movie. It's available on Amazon Prime. Hellboy, and then again, Underworld Evolution added to Amazon Prime. And then last but not least, you have Disney Plus. So two nostalgic movies, The Sandlot, and I guess The Sandlot 2, although that's not as cool, are coming out on Disney Plus. Actually, no, they came out on the 1st, I think. Okay. So you could watch those there, or have your kids watch those if you like to torture your children like I do. The Black Widow will be releasing on July 9th, same time as theaters. They are doing a making of Loki show. It's called Marvel Studios Assembled Making of Loki. That will release right after the last episode, or the week after, I think, July 21st. And then we already talked about it, but Jungle Cruise goes premiere access July 30th. So same time it goes in theaters. Awesome. And that's it. Lots of nostalgia and a couple new things coming up.
Well, it's funny. Speaking of nostalgia, Noah is like like you've heard us say time and again, like this kid should have been born in the '80s. Just the way he is, his personality. Running around, riding his bike all over the neighborhood, just the way he is. Goes plays football, rides his bike all over the neighborhood, hangs out with his friends like an '80s kid, And he's been on a kick of watching older movies, which is funny because years ago Heather and I tried this with our older two who were in their 20s, and we saw that some movies held up, some didn't, whatever. But Noah's on a kick of watching. First, he was on a kick of watching all football movies because, of course, And the other night when we were talking, I think when we did the last Geekly, you remember he was watching the first Ghostbusters because he wants to get ready for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yep.
Well, the other night, we'll just look on streaming for any kind of random movies. He's watched both Homeward Bound movies. And he loved them both. And then 2 nights ago, we all sat around and watched Harry and the Hendersons.
I remember that, yeah. The Bigfoot guy, yeah.
Yeah, Bigfoot and John Lithgow. One, it holds up pretty well. The special effects on the costume are good. And he absolutely loved that fucking movie. and Heather was laughing. She was like, that's one that I wouldn't mind seeing them remake. Like just today's effects. But like I thought the effects held up perfectly fine. But yeah, I wouldn't mind them redoing that one for like today's audiences. But yeah, he loved it. Like he's on a kick where we thought about The Sandlot at one point. I don't think he sat down and watched it, but we thought about that. So it's cool to know that one's out there. I bet he'll watch it and like it. So, yeah, I'm all for it. All right. So yeah, that is everything that is to talk about this week, I guess. I totally forgot what I was going to say there. So yes, now that you've listened to us in the morning, since I have nothing going on, I will edit this and drop it. So you'll be listening to us on the 9th. So now that you've listened to us, go watch Black Widow and let us know what you think about it. Or if you watched it before listening to us, like you shouldn't have, let us know what you thought about it. And let us know what you think about everything else we talked about tonight. Hit us up at whatifgeeks.com, whatifgeeks@gmail.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, subscribe down here, comment, send us a smoke signal, do something. Let us know you're out there. And I guess that's it. We will catch you next week when we shift to Monday. Not that you'll get it until like Thursday, but recording days. All right. Thanks, everybody. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Slave One. Maybe forever.
Oh, wait. Boop.